If you are looking for the questions with answers from the chapter, Up Your Go, Class 5 EVS, Chapter 9, then this is the right video for you. This video contains all the possible questions, short questions, exercise questions along with the proper answers from this chapter. Let us start. Question 1. Name some mountaineering institutes in India. Answer. Some major mountaineering institutes in India include the Nehru Institute of Mountaineering, NIM, in Uttarkashi, the Himalayan Mountaineering Institute, HMI, in Darjeeling, the Atal Bihari Vajpayee Institute of Mountaineering and Allied Sports, ABVIMAS, in Manali, and the Jawahar Institute of Mountaineering, JIM, in Pahalgam. Other institutes include the National Institute of Mountaineering and Allied Sports, NIMAS, in Dirang, Arunachal Pradesh, and the Sonam Gyatso Mountaineering Institute in Gangtok. Question 2. From where did the women come to the adventure course along with Sangeeta Arora? Answer. The women who came to the adventure course along with Sangeeta Arora were from different states such as Assam, Manipur, Mizoram, Meghalaya, and Nagaland. They also belong to different occupations. Question 3. How was the experience of Sangeeta Arora on the first day of the adventure course? Answer. On the first day of the adventure course, Sangeeta Arora had to walk 26 kilometers with a heavy rucksack on her back. The path was narrow, rough, and full of steep climbs. Because of this, she got blisters on her feet and suffered from pain while walking. Question 4. What are the responsibilities of a group leader in mountaineering? Answer. The responsibilities of a group leader in mountaineering include helping others to carry their bags, letting the group go ahead while watching all group members from the last, helping those who cannot climb properly, finding a good and safe place to stop and rest, looking after those who are not well, arranging food for the group members, and being ready to be punished for mistakes made by any group member. Question 5. Why could Sangeeta not talk with Khondanbi for 21 days? Answer. Sangeeta could not talk with Khondanbi for 21 days because Khondanbi was from Mizoram and could only speak the Mizo language. Sangeeta did not know the Mizo language, so they could not communicate. Question 6. What is the oldest mountaineering institute in the world? Answer. The Himalayan Mountaineering Institute, HMI, is one of the oldest mountaineering institutes in the world. It is located in Darjeeling, West Bengal. It was established in 1954 by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Question 7. What is the oldest mountaineering institute in India? Answer. The oldest mountaineering institute in India is the Himalayan Mountaineering Institute, HMI. Question 8. Who was the director of that adventure course? Answer. Brigadier Gyan Singh was the director of the adventure course. Question 9. Write something about group number 7 of that adventure course. Answer. Group number 7 consisted of girls from different states like Assam, Manipur, Mizoram, Meghalaya, and Nagaland. The group leader was Sangeeta Arora, who was a teacher from Kendriya Vidyalaya of Shalimar Bagh, Delhi. Most of the girls in the group could not speak Hindi very well. One member named Khondanbi, from Mizoram, could only speak the Mizo language. Despite the language barriers, the girls became very close to each other in their hearts. Question 10. How did the trekkers cross the river? Answer. In mountain areas, rivers flow very fast, so the trekkers could not cross the river by swimming. Instead, there was a thick rope tied across the river from one bank to the other. Both ends of the rope were tightly fixed to pegs. A trekker was tied by another rope around her waist, which had a sling attached to the thick rope across the river for safety. The trekkers crossed the river by walking or hanging through the water while holding the thick rope tightly with their hands. Question 11. What was the accident that happened with Sangeeta while crossing the river? Answer. When Sangeeta was crossing the fast-flowing river by walking through the icy cold water, she was shivering, and her teeth were chattering. She was very nervous and scared. Near the middle of the river, the water reached up to her neck. At that point, she lost her balance due to the force of the water and started slipping. The thick rope tied across the river slipped from her hands. This accident might have carried Sangeeta away with the river, but she was safe because she was tied around her waist by another rope connected to the thick rope through a sling. Question 12. What was the breakfast for the group of Sangeeta Arora? Answer. The breakfast for Sangeeta Arora's group included hot chocolate milk, iron tablets, vitamin C, and other dry foods. Question 13. What are the things in a rucksack of a mountain trekker? Answer. A mountain trekker's rucksack contains essential items such as food packets, a water bottle, rope, hooks or slings, a plastic sheet, a diary, a torch, a towel, soap, a wind cheater, a whistle, glucose, jaggery, chana, chickpeas, and other snacks. Question 14. How does a trekker climb a steep mountain? Answer. First, the most skillful, experienced, and able person climbs a certain distance on the mountain. Then, he hangs a thick rope down from the top. The rope is tightly bound at the top with pegs or other suitable things to bear the weight of the trekker. The trekker is tied around his waist with another rope that has a sling connected to the thick rope for safety. If the thick rope slips from the trekker's hand, the sling-attached rope prevents him from falling. The trekker climbs by holding the thick rope, keeping his body at an angle almost 90 degrees to the mountain surface. Question 15. What is rappelling? Answer. Rappelling is a method of descending a steep incline using a double rope secured above and around the body of the person. Question 16. What was the funny incident that happened with Sangeeta Arora? Answer. During the adventure course, one group member named Khondanbi felt hungry one evening, but they had nothing to eat. She jumped over a fence, plucked 2 big cucumbers from a field, and came back. A woman from the field caught hold of her bag and spoke in her own language, which Khondanbi did not understand. Sangeeta Arora tried to explain in Hindi, but neither could understand each other. Finally, Sangeeta apologized to the woman by folding her hands. This was the funny incident that happened with Sangeeta. Question 17. How do the trekkers send signals to others when they are in danger? Answer. The trekkers send signals to their group members using whistles and light signals from torches when they are in danger. Question 18. Who was the special guest who came to the camp? Answer. Bachendri Pal, who was selected as part of the team to climb Mount Everest and later became the first Indian woman to reach its peak, was the special guest who came to the camp. She came to seek the blessing of her guide Brigadier Gyan Singh before starting her journey to Mount Everest. Question 19. How do mountain trekkers spend their nights during an adventure? Answer. Mountain trekkers spend cold nights in tents. They use double-layered plastic sheets for the tents in the ground, with air trapped between the layers to keep the temperature warmer inside. The tent is securely tied with pegs and ropes, and a drain is dug around to lead water away. They collect firewood or use stoves to cook food and sleep inside feather-filled sleeping bags to keep warm. Question 20. Who got the Best Performance Award? Answer. Sangeeta Arora received the Best Performance Award. Question 21. Why did Bachendri Pal spend a night on the mountain top in her childhood? Answer. When Bachendri Pal was 12 years old, she went on a school picnic and climbed a nearby 4,000-meter mountain peak with her friends. It became dark before they could descend, so they had to spend the long, cold night there without any food. Question 22. Write something about Bachendri Pal. Answer. Bachendri Pal grew up in Nakuri village in the Garhwal region of Uttarakhand. She joined the Nehru Institute of Mountaineering in Uttarkashi and excelled in her training under Brigadier Gyan Singh. Later, she trained women in mountaineering courses. In 1984, she was selected as a team member to climb Mount Everest and reached the summit on May 23, 1984. She became the first Indian woman and the fifth woman in the world to reach the peak of Mount Everest. Question 23. What is the name of Mount Everest in Nepal? Answer. The Nepali name for Mount Everest is Sagarmatha. Question 24. What happened to Bachendri Pal's team on the night of May 15, 1984? Answer. On the night of May 15, 1984, Bachendri Pal's team was tired after reaching 7,300 meters on their way to Mount Everest's peak. They camped and went to sleep. Around midnight, a loud sound and bang woke them as a snowstorm hit, ripping their tent. Bachendri was nearly buried under snow and suffered a head injury. Team members used snow picks and axes to dig out buried members. Question 25. What is a snowstorm? Answer. A snowstorm is a storm with heavy snowfall, often accompanied by strong winds and low visibility. It can last for a long time. Question 26. When did Bachendri Pal step onto the peak of Mount Everest? Answer. Bachendri Pal reached the peak of Mount Everest at 7 minutes past 1 o'clock on May 23, 1984. Question 27. What kind of training do mountaineers undergo at the institutes? Answer. Mountaineers undergo physical fitness training, rock climbing, rope techniques, survival skills, and learn how to handle cold weather and high altitudes. Question 28. Why is it important to carry a first aid kit during mountain climbing? Answer. Carrying a first aid kit is important to treat injuries like cuts, blisters, and altitude sickness that may occur during climbing. Question 29. How do mountaineers keep warm during cold nights on the mountain? Answer. Mountaineers keep warm by using insulated sleeping bags, double-layered tents, wearing woolen clothes, and keeping fires or stoves burning. Question 30. What qualities make a good mountaineer? Answer. A good mountaineer needs physical fitness, courage, patience, teamwork, and determination. Question 31. What safety measures do climbers take to avoid accidents? Answer. Climbers use safety ropes, harnesses, helmets, proper climbing gear, and follow instructions from experienced guides to avoid accidents. Question 32. How do climbers communicate in noisy or harsh weather conditions? Answer. Climbers use whistle signals, light signals from torches, and hand signals to communicate in noisy or harsh weather. Question 33. Why do mountaineers need to acclimatize? Answer. Acclimatizing helps mountaineers' bodies adjust to the lower oxygen levels at high altitudes, preventing altitude sickness. Question 34. What role does teamwork play in mountaineering? Answer. Teamwork helps ensure safety, share workloads, and support members during difficult times. It plays a vital role in mountaineering. Question 35. What important lesson did Sangeeta learn from the adventure course? Answer. Sangeeta learned the value of leadership, cooperation, courage, and never giving up despite difficulties. Question 36. How did Bachendri Pal inspire other women climbers? Answer. By becoming the first Indian woman to climb Mount Everest, Bachendri Pal motivated others to pursue mountaineering and adventure sports. Question 37. Have you ever seen the mountains? Have you also climbed a mountain? When and where? Answer. Yes, I have seen the mountains and climbed a small hill during our family trip to Shimla in Himachal Pradesh. Question 38. How far have you walked at one time? How far can you walk? Answer. I walked about 5 kilometers at one time during a school picnic to Mussoorie Hills. I can walk up to 10 kilometers with short breaks. If you like the video, please subscribe to the channel to get such videos for all the other chapters. Thank you for watching.